Hello guys, it's the big one today. It's FA Cup round 4 predictions. I'm joined by Sophie. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Like I say, it's a big one. FA Cup round 4, 32 teams left. We're heading towards the final 16 after this. Before we go anywhere, guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It is a big one, so let's go for a big like target. 2,000 likes. It's free to hit the thumbs up button, so please make sure to click that thumbs up button down below to show this channel some support, and subscribe. If you've not already subscribed, go on. We're so close to 55,000 subscribers. Half of you watching are subscribed, half of you watching aren't. Make sure to get involved. Sophie, let's dive straight into the FA Cup predictions, and we're going to kick things off with a Premier League v Championship matchup. It's AFC Bournemouth versus Swansea City. Now, both sides lost last time in their respective leagues, but they were both taking on sort of top teams. AFC Bournemouth lost to Liverpool 4-0. What did you make of that?
I thought they were in it in the first half. They didn't play too badly, and then second half crumbled. But they've got a few injuries to key players, so it's half expected, really.
I think it was almost a bit harsh on them because of
the 4-0.
Yeah, because of they've been all right in the first half, but I suppose that's what top teams can do to you. Swansea actually lost to another South Coast team at the weekend. They lost to Southampton 3-1, who are flying in the Championship. As for this one, I think I'm going to go for the South Coast team, Bournemouth. I'm going to go 3-1 to the Cherries here, Sophie. I think with their league position being pretty comfortable, they don't look in like any danger of going down.
I don't think so.
They could go on a good run in the FA Cup, so I think Bournemouth will get past Swansea 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to say slightly tighter game actually, because I feel like with Bournemouth's injury crisis really at the back, they might rest a couple of players, so that might benefit Swansea. So I'm going to say Bournemouth progress, but a tighter game. 2-1 for me. 2-1
Bournemouth. Yeah, both going for the Cherries to get through that one. On to the next game then, Sophie, and we head to Ashton Gate, where we have got Bristol City versus Nottingham Forest. Now, Bristol City, Sophie, dumped out Premier League opposition in West Ham. They drew at the London Stadium and then beat them at home. So they'll fancy their chances to do something like that again.
Yeah, definitely. And why not?
Yeah. They take on Forest, who did kind of struggle to get past League One Blackpool in the last round. It went to a replay, and then the replay went to extra time.
Yeah, it's a good game, that, actually.
It was pretty entertaining. You've got to say that.
Neutral, yeah.
I think that's what you've got from Nuno so far under Forest. They're more entertaining.
Yes.
But still culpable of conceding goals. And last time in the Premier League, they lost 3-2 to Brentford. Obviously, Forest fans aren't too pleased with Ivan Toney's antics. Do you know what I found quite interesting about that, Sophie, is the Premier League doesn't actually have any strict guidelines on what the rules are when it comes to shifting a free kick a yard or so. I mean, I presume it's...
Well, you're not meant to, are you? That's why
I agree.
You've got the spray.
I presume it's not meant to even be moved in the slightest, but when they spoke to, one of the referee representatives, they said, oh, there isn't any guidelines on it. So,
oh, right, so it's a grey area.
Well, it's a bit of a shambles, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is.
Anyway, on to this game, Sophie. Do you know what? I remember this fixture in the Championship a couple years ago when Bristol City were winning 1-0, and I think it was it Lyle Taylor who popped up with 2 late goals to win it for Forest, and their season turned around and they went up to the Premier League. Going to go with the same scoreline here. Going to go for Forest to just edge Bristol City with their Premier League quality. Robins 1, Forest 2.
Another upset for me. Bristol City, they've just been looking quite good in the Cup. So I'm going to give them a 1-0 win.
Really?
Yeah, they're really going to have to battle for it for me. But being the home side, I'm just leaning towards them. There's a good feeling there, and I see them progressing. So 1-0 to the Robins.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like you said, they did so well to get past West Ham. But we shall see. The Forest fans are usually quite happy when you don't back them, Sophie.
That's true.
So maybe that's a good omen.
Yeah.
On to the next one, Sophie, and we are going to this one at Hillsborough. It's Sheffield Wednesday versus Coventry City, Part 2. And it'll be the 3rd time we've played them in a month, because we played them on the 26th of December, we played them last week, and now we're playing them on the 26th of January. Of course, I went to Hillsborough last week. This time Sophie is coming with me. Make sure to look out for our match vlog. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm excited. It's a new ground for me, and obviously Coventry are flying at the moment, so it's a pleasure bringing the Sky Blues.
Yes. If you'd have asked me before the 2 games, Coventry can only win 1, which one would you rather win? I would have chose the league game, but now we've won it, I want to win this one as well.
Oh, of course, yeah, I want to win all of them.
Of course, last week's game was overshadowed by one idiot making racist remarks towards Casey Palmer. What I want to see for this game is the fans sort of coming together, because I'm not going to let that tarnish my views of Sheffield Wednesday whatsoever.
Not at all. Yeah.
Every single club has got that stupid idiot that will do something like that.
We've got our own.
Oh, we've got our own. We've got our own. 99% of Coventry fans don't want to associate themselves with the ones that did those stupid banners.
Yeah.
So let's come together. I really like Sheffield Wednesday as a club, and do you know what? This fixture obviously brings back memories for older Coventry City and Sheffield Wednesday fans. 1987, Sheffield Wednesday and Coventry City faced off in the quarter-finals at Hillsborough. Do you know what, Soph? I'm going to go for the same score as last week. Coventry just edge it 2-1.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to say the same. I would say a draw and then replay them and play them all over again. But I'm sick of playing them at this point. It's like Middlesbrough last season. You just play a team so many times in a quick succession. You're just bored of it. So let's put this game to bed. I'm going to agree with you, actually. I think 2-1, another tight game. I think the first 11 will be different for both teams, to be honest, with it being a cup game. But I do see the scoreline being the same, so 2-1 to the Sky Blues.
2-1, yeah, interesting. Both going for the Sky Blues to get through. On to the next game, Sophie, as we head to Stamford Bridge. It's an all Premier League matchup between Chelsea and Aston Villa. What are you thinking?
I don't know with this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's
Could go either way, to be honest.
It could go either way, yes. I'll tell you what's a little bit surprising, Sophie, is Aston Villa have found themselves in the FA Cup 4th round for the first time in ages. They always seem to lose in the 3rd round, but they did beat Middlesbrough and they've got to the 4th round this time. They take on Chelsea away, which is actually a game they won in the Premier League this season. Chelsea fans have criticised me for not backing them enough. And you know what? Because of that,
you're going to back them.
I'm going to back Aston Villa. I'm going to go for Aston Villa, Sophie. I've got to be honest, Sophie.
Yeah.
I think Aston Villa are the stronger team here. Chelsea 0, Villa 2.
Oh, it's going to be a draw for me. I'm going to be boring. I'm going to sit on the fence 1-1. I do feel like I'm struggling to separate the two teams here. So, yeah, if it was at Villa Park, I feel like they would progress for me. But with it being at Stamford Bridge, I'm just finding it too hard to separate the two, so I'm going down the middle, 1-1.
Oh, you dirty little fence sitter.
I've not called a draw yet.
Outrageous. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to an absolute corker at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs take on Manchester City. Last time in the FA Cup, we had Arsenal versus Liverpool as the big game. This time it's got to be Tottenham versus Man City in terms of, top clubs locking horns. And you know what? Tottenham are a team that are capable of taking something off Manchester City. Obviously, lots of teams struggle to take things off Man City, but Spurs did get a 3-3 draw at the Etihad in the Premier League. You wonder, with their form being relatively good recently.
What, Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like they've come back into form somewhat.
Yes, they have a little bit, yeah.
I just wonder if they might be able to get something here. I'm going to say no. Manchester City have got De Bruyne back.
I know.
And he's
a big difference,
already made a difference with that game at Newcastle. I'm going to go Spurs 1, Man City 3.
Oh. I mean, I'm going for the same deficit, actually. I'm going to say 2-0 Man City, which seems a little bit harsh, not giving Spurs at least a goal here. But, yeah, as you said, Man City have got De Bruyne back. They're starting to look good. They're going to want to add to their silverware, surely. So I feel like they'll go fairly strong in this one. But even if they don't, the squad they've got is very good. So even if they rotate a little bit, it's still strong. And, yeah, I just see Man City winning it. So 2-0.
2-0. There you go. Both back in Manchester City to advance. On to the next one, Sophie, as we go to Portman Road. Championship flying Ipswich Town take on the last non-league side, Maidstone. Go on, Maidstone.
Go on, Maidstone. Get through, lads.
Obviously, Maidstone are the underdogs. We'd love to see them cause an upset, not because we dislike Ipswich, but because,
like an underdog.
Everyone wants to see the last non-league team get as far as they can. But if we're being realistic, Sophie, I think Ipswich are going to wipe the floor here. Maidstone did fantastic to beat Stevenage in the last round, which is quite devastating for us.
Well, it is, because #1 fans for Stevenage.
Yeah, we grew a bit of a soft spot for Stevenage last year after beating Aston Villa. Ipswich got a great result on Monday night, Sophie. They snatched a point against Leicester City, which has just kept them second. I mean, they are hanging on to second by their fingernails.
Fair point, yeah.
I mean, Southampton are right on their tails, but this FA Cup distraction will maybe be a nice sort of a nice distraction for them to boost their confidence and get a few goals. I reckon Ipswich will win 4-1. I'm going to give Maidstone a goal.
Again, I'm going for the same deficit, 3-0 Ipswich for me. I don't see them conceding against Maidstone. No offence to them at all, but Ipswich are looking very good in the Championship and you're a few leagues apart. Would obviously like to see Maidstone progress, but I don't see it happening. So for me, Ipswich win 3-0.
3-0 Ipswich, okay. On to the next one, Sophie, as we go to Goodison Park. It's an all-Premier League matchup between Everton and Luton Town. In the Premier League, this would be a big matchup, both sides trying to stay up. In fact, at Goodison Park, it's already played out, and Luton Town won. They got their first Premier League win this season at Everton. Can they repeat the trick? Do you know what, Sophie? When I look at these two, I just think they're both very tight. I mean, yes. Everton...
kind of similar style of play in a way.
Possibly.
Quite negative, really, but works for them.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
It's a results business.
Yeah, exactly.
Everton are, picking up points. 0-0 against Villa last time in the Premier League. That's fine. They beat Palace 1-0 in the FA Cup replay. It's fine. Luton Town snatched a draw at Burnley last time. 1-1. They also just got past Bolton in the FA Cup 2-1. I've got to be honest, Sophie, I'm going to go for a draw here. Two very solid Premier League sides. Obviously, one of them might go down, but what I mean is that they're tight. They can keep other teams from scoring loads.
Yes,
I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, see, I do see it being a low-scoring game, but for me, the home side are going to nick it. I'm going to say 1-0 Everton here. I feel like both teams probably will concentrate on the Prem and their survival, because that is ultimately more important, but... yeah, I just see Everton nicking the win, so 1-0. 1-0
Everton. Next up, Sophie, is an all-championship matchup as we go to Ellen Road. It's Leeds United versus Plymouth Argyle. What's your thoughts on this, Sophie? Do Leeds United go on a bit of a cup run here, or can Plymouth do it? I mean, Plymouth still haven't won away yet.
They've not won away, and Leeds are very good at home.
Well,
so
Leeds haven't lost at home yet.
Yeah, so it's all pointing to a Leeds win here.
Yeah.
Or at least a draw.
But it's the FA Cup.
It is the cup, anything can happen.
Could something magical happen here? Could Plymouth get their first away win? Could Leeds lose their first home game of the season? I reckon Plymouth will get a goal and they'll make a go of it, because what they can have about this game, as opposed to a league game, is they can come with a freedom knowing that if they lose this, it's not the end of the world. Whereas in the league, they still need some points to survive. Yeah. Leeds 3, Plymouth 1.
Yeah, I'm going for the exact same, actually. I see it being... yeah, I see there being a few goals, to be honest. More so in Leeds' favour. I don't see Leeds losing this. Obviously, I'm not backing them to draw either, but that's not taking anything away from Plymouth. They have looked good going forward at times, so I am going to give them a goal. But yeah, ultimately Leeds win, and I agree, 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, both backing Leeds United to get through. Share your thoughts on that game at Ellen Road. Next up, Sophie, and we've got another all-championship matchup this weekend. It's between Leicester City and Birmingham City. Let's start with Birmingham, Sophie. They have improved under Tony Mowbray.
Yeah, I knew it'd happen. As soon as Mowbray came in, he always hits the ground running. You just expect him to get results straight away, and then there tends to be a bit of a drop-off. But as long as they're away from the relegation zone, they won't matter. Chalk this season off as just a bit of a Rooney masterclass, and then push on next season. But in the cup, anything can happen. I know they're the away team here, but I wouldn't be shocked if they won this one.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely, I wouldn't be that shocked.
Yeah, do you know what? This is the biggest test for Mowbray at Birmingham so far. It's in the cup though, so maybe there's that freedom, and possibly that could work to Birmingham's benefit.
Yeah.
Leicester City though, Sophie, I suppose they've dropped a couple of points in their last 2 championship games, drawing with Ipswich, losing to Coventry. Still think they're going to win the league.
I do as well.
Yeah,
I don't think there's going to be a massive drop-off. They seem to drop points in the last few minutes of the game. They need to sort that out, especially if they are going up. They can't afford to do that in the Prem.
Yeah, maybe it's not been as comfortable as it was 2 weeks ago with just the 1 point in 2 games, but I still think Leicester will win the league. And with them having a nice enough cushion, maybe it allows them the freedom to go on a bit of a cup run as well. I think this will be tough for both because Birmingham City have improved, but Leicester are the best team in the Championship. Going to go for Leicester to edge it 2-1.
I'm going 2-1 the other way.
Really?
Yeah, I can see
Wow.
Leicester leading this up until the final 10-15 and Birmingham snatching it under Mowbray and progressing. See, that is a bit of a cup set because obviously Leicester will be the favourites, being the best team in the Championship, as you mentioned, but anything can happen in the cup.
Wow, fair enough. There you go. Both going opposite ways for that game. On to the next one, Sophie, and we've got an all-Premier League matchup at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United versus Brighton. Now, both sides in their most recent Premier League game picked up draws. Brighton 0-0 against Wolves. I'm surprised by that because neither of those teams had drawn a game 0-0 coming into that this season.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, Sophie, crazy game against West Ham. Snatched a 2-2 draw. Good start for Ben Brereton Diaz. He got a goal.
Got a goal on his debut.
Of course, you know, we rate Hamer. I think Cameron Archer's a good player. McBurney can step up and score when they need him to. I don't think they're as bad as some people have tried to say this season, although I still think they're in dire straits because of how far adrift they are.
Yes, yeah.
They've actually still got a chance of staying up if Everton and Forest get points deductions.
Yeah.
But this is a cup game against a very classy Brighton team. They did draw 1-1 in the Premier League, and that was actually at the Amex when Brighton were at home. Let's go for a little upset and back the blade, Sophie. I don't know what it is. Sheffield United strike me as a team that can go on good cup runs, and Bramall Lane's a tough place to go and get results. 2-1 to the Blades.
I'm going to say another draw. I'm struggling to separate the two. I would probably lean more so towards Brighton because I do feel overall they've got a better team. But what we've seen under Chris Wilder is Sheffield United can be hard to break down at times, and I feel like they will actually go for it in this game and try and go on a bit of a cup run, because when you're that low down you need momentum. You don't want another defeat on your record, so I feel like it's going to go to a replay. 1-1.
1-1. But yeah, interesting prediction. Next up, Soph, another all-Premier League matchup as we head to Craven Cottage this time. It's Fulham versus Newcastle United. Difficult to put your finger on, Sophie. When they played in the Premier League a few weeks ago, Fulham came into it on the back of back-to-back 5-0 wins. Newcastle's form was all over the place, but then Newcastle smashed Fulham. Difficult, Soph, because both teams have been in and out of form.
Yes, very patchy, the pair of them.
Yes. I've got to be honest, though, as a whole, this competition has surely got to mean more to Newcastle this season. Yeah. Not trying to disrespect Fulham there, because I think Fulham could get to the late stages if they go on a good run, but Newcastle, with the decline in the Premier League position as opposed to this time last season, and the exit from the Carabao Cup, the exit from the Champions League, they've got to keep another plate spinning, and I reckon it'll be this one. I'm going to go Fulham 1, Newcastle 3.
Yeah, I'm going to say slightly tighter, but again, I am going to back the Magpies as well. I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle. I actually agree with everything you've said there. It wouldn't be a good season at all if they don't have a good cup run, they don't win anything, and they don't end up in the top 4. I feel like that's a poor season, so they need to, in my eyes, progress in this cup, and I do feel like they will. So 2-1.
Yeah, the problem is Newcastle have set the standard so high last season.
They did, yeah, so expectations are high for this season too.
I don't know if it'll be straightforward, though. I could see Fulham trying to trip them up.
Yeah, because they're not a bad team.
Next up, Sophie, here we go. We're going to the Hawthorns for West Bromwich Albion versus Wolves, the Black Country Derby. Sophie, this one is a big one.
Massive.
These two fan bases really don't like each other.
No.
And they haven't played in a couple seasons. One thing that makes it quite interesting is Wolves are the Premier League team, so you wonder, are they the stronger of the two? But in terms of head-to-head record, West Brom pretty strong. I remember about 10, 12 years ago, West Brom winning at Molineux 5-1. I think Odom Wingy scored a hat-trick or something. Let's talk about the two teams this season, Sophie. West Brom looked like a top 6 outfit in the Championship. They did lose to Norwich 2-0 last time. Wolves, they look a pretty solid Premier League outfit. Drew 0-0 with Brighton last time. I really don't know, Sophie. West Brom have the home advantage. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they can pinch this.
No.
Do you know what, Sophie? I think I'm going to go with the away side. I just wonder if there's just that little bit of class from the Premier League that might just draw them over the line. Both sides have got to be fired up for this. You know, they've got to know what this means to the fan bases. I'm going to go West Brom 1, Wolves 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised if Wolves did get the win here. Obviously, they are the Premier League team. They're doing all right. They have got a good squad and they're playing nice football. But sometimes with the derby game, there is a bit of an upset on the cards. And I feel like it's going to happen. West Brom 2-1.
Oh,
yeah, they progressed for me.
They have been very good under Corberan this season.
Yes.
Yeah, share your thoughts, guys. The reason I'm not going all in for the upset there is because last time when it was Sunderland v Newcastle, I backed Sunderland and Newcastle wiped the floor with them 3-0.
Yeah, I don't think Sunderland turned up for that.
No. So there you go. We're going opposite directions for the Black Country Derby. Share your thoughts if you're a West Brom or Wolves fan. Next up, Sophie, it's an all-championship matchup between Watford and Southampton. Big game, really, so good chance for either to get through to the 5th round. I've got to be honest, I like Watford, but this Southampton train just keeps chugging along. I'm going to go for the Saints to win this one. They're what, 21, 22 games unbeaten now?
Yeah, I think it is.
Ridiculous. Watford 0, Southampton 2. Going to go actually,
okay.
Clean sheet.
Yeah, what I will say about Watford is they are hitting some good form at a good time, actually. So you can't count them in the league. You can't count them out of the playoff race at the moment. They're still very much in it for me. However, that being said, as you've just mentioned, Southampton are on some run at the moment in the Championship, and can they continue that into the FA Cup? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say 2-1. I feel like they might rest a couple of players here because obviously they're pushing for the automatics, but why not go on a cup run as well? I can see them doing it, but a tighter game than you're predicting. 2-1.
2-1. There you go. Watford did just edge past Chesterfield last time, so I'm not sure for that one. Next up, Sophie, we head to Anfield, where Liverpool take on Norwich City. Now, Norwich just managed to get past Bristol Rovers after an FA Cup replay last time, and they've set themselves up with a pretty tricky game here against top of the Premier League, Liverpool. To be honest, Sophie, Liverpool have arguably won the hardest game of the last round, going away to Arsenal and winning.
Yeah.
So to go out in a game like this would just be so pointless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They might as well now really go for it because they've already put so much effort, I suppose, into the last game. I think Norwich City have been a good Championship team this season, and they've kind of snuck out of nowhere to be back in the playoff race.
Yeah.
But this is a different kettle of fish. Liverpool have just smashed Bournemouth 4-0. I'll go Liverpool. I'll go 3-1 because they might rotate a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they will rotate a little bit. But still, they've got some... Liverpool, I'm talking about here. They've got some young, good players coming through at the moment. And Klopp is good for that, bringing the young players in. He obviously trusts them. And they look confident when they play as well, which is nice to see. So I do see it being a fairly rotated squad, but I still think it's going to be too much for Norwich. So 2-0 for me. Yeah, fairly comfortable, but I'm not going to go really heavy like 4 or 5-0, nothing like that.
No, and to be honest, Norwich, I suppose this is a day out for them.
They could get a goal, they could possibly get a draw, but I don't know, it's a big ask.
And you've got to give it a go. You've got to, make the fans that have travelled that journey worthwhile. On to the next one, Sophie. Only 2 games left, and we head to South Wales, where Newport County have got Manchester United. Well done to Newport. They got past Eastleigh after an FA Cup replay last time, and they've set up an interesting matchup here with Manchester United, who, beat Wigan 2-0 last time, but I don't know. I still don't think it was totally convincing from Manchester United.
Really, was it?
Bruno Fernandes rolling around for that penalty. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe in the Premier League you can get away with that without much criticism, but to do that to a League One team,
yeah, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. That said, I do think Manchester United will win this. I mean, there's a golfing class here. Let's be realistic. As much as Manchester United really haven't been convincing this season, they should get through this. I'd like to see Newport score, but I just wonder if Man United will do what they did in the last round and win 2-0. I think they'll just... I think it'll be a pretty boring game, actually.
Oh, fair enough. So you're going 2-0. I'm going 3-0, actually. I feel like they might get another goal. The difference in class, I think, is going to be too much on the day. I'd like to see Newport really go for it. They're at home. It's going to be, obviously, massive for the fans. So I don't think there's going to be an upset, though. Would be nice to see, but I don't see it happening. Fairly easy 3-0 win for Man United for me.
Yeah. What I'd like to see from Newport, though, is them just really go for it.
Yes.
I just want them to attack Man United.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go for it. You might actually beat them. You never know. One game left, Sophie, and it's at Ewood Park. It's Blackburn Rovers versus Wrexham. Wrexham here, Sophie. Can they get another big championship scalp away at Blackburn, who've not been totally great this season?
What, in the championship?
No,
they've been poor. They have been poor.
I think Wrexham will sense blood here, but it's definitely not as easy as some people think. Let's be honest, some people are going to look at this and say, oh yeah, Wrexham are going to win. It's not actually that easy. They've got to put the hard work in. And if we're being serious, on paper, squad for squad, Blackburn
are the better squad.
Yeah, they're a championship team. But they just aren't playing particularly great together. Their best win recently was actually on Twitter when their admin shut Joey Barton down. Did you see that?
Yeah, they should get 3 points for that.
They should get, well, it's a cup game, but yeah, they should get 3 points for that in the league, I guess. As for Wrexham, Sophie, they actually lost their most recent League 2 game to Newport, but I'm going to back them. Come on. I mean, as I say, I know it's not going to be straightforward, but this is a prime time for an FA Cup upset. Blackburn sort of not in a great position. Wrexham come along and stab them in the back. 2-1 to Wrexham.
I'm going to say a 2-2. It's going to go to a replay for me. As we've mentioned, Wrexham are very capable of a bit of an upset here, but Blackburn aren't playing too well in the Championship, so it really could go either way. I'm going down the middle. I'm saying an entertaining Desmond. 2-2.
There you go. Finishing it off with a draw. Guys, make sure to comment down below your predictions, because that wraps up our FA Cup 4th round predictions. Like I say, get your predictions down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. We will be live streaming the draw for the 5th round on Monday night. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It is free to hit the like button, and it is also free to subscribe. Make sure you've subscribed to help us hit 55,000 subscribers. We are this close. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you in the next video. Peace out.